Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining us. We are here. We are a wee bit late, so sorry. We'll get into that as it comes up. But we are here at the precipice of an international game week. We've got all the home nations, as it were. Gargi decided to wear the toilet paper to the show today. Don't know why. Yeah, so we're a wee bit delayed because I'm taking the whole delay on at Gargi here. We had to do a bit of a wardrobe change as soon as he wore that. Me and Harry instinctively both went.
They brought
both just got up. I had to go and change our shirts. It could not happen, So, I can't even imagine owning such a thing, Gargi, never mind wearing it. So you'll bend my thoughts and prayers tonight, buddy. And good to see it. Well, at least they're all kind of represented in some ways. I guess we're kind of covering all the bases in that sense. Ireland, I think, have some fixtures as well. So maybe we'll get an Irishman drop in later. Who knows? But we're here, guys, for an international game week. We've got Euro 2024 qualification this game week, as well as MLS Argentinian Superliga and a few other bits and pieces along the way. Gargi, it's great to have you back on, mate, of course, and I've got Harry Trades as my co-pilot. Fist bumps to you both. But Gargi, since it's your first time back on in a while, how have you been, buddy? What are you up to?
I've been great. Prepared for this international break. I have 9 lineups, I think. And I'm fully ready for this show.
Brilliant. Hi. Oh, I say last time you were on, it was for internationals again, and you've got the Sorare data watch list up there. You've been scouting all those backup keepers that actually play for like Estonia and all these places and whatever as well, which is a fantastic strategy. It's actually paying off. And Harry boy, my co-pilot, good to see you, my man. How have you been? What are you up to?
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, not too much, mate, to be fair. Got a week left in the US, or just over. And just buzzing for the international. Obviously, Wales will play in the daytime here for me, which is nice. 2:45. So yeah, buzzing for that today. And I was telling Yehonatan before we went live, I'm going to watch an MLS game tomorrow, which will be fun.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
fantastic. Are you going to spoil that then, or are we keeping that secret?
We'll keep it for the lineup. We'll keep it for the fixtures. Why not? Yeah.
Cool.
We'll get everyone guessing. Yeah.
Before we even get onto the fixtures and stuff like that, just as we were coming live, there was a wee, let's say, scenario has arisen that you guys were wanting to kind of bat about. There's a bunch of Sorare scouts and managers joining us live and loud all across the world, as they always do for the deadline stream. Fist bump to you all. And this is one for you guys right off the bat as we chew this over. And once we get over this, we'll get stuck into all the usual stuff, the fixture list, the prize pools, the matchups tab, the predicted 11s. And obviously, Yehonatan has had his ear to the ground with international football for ages. And Harry, as you know, has got the monster thread on Twitter with all the squads that have been released and everything. So we're going to be getting into all the good stuff across that for all the game weeks as we get into it, as well as prize pools and everything else here, there, and in between. But I don't know who wants to bring it up, but it's just been out on Twitter, isn't it, or whatever?
Yeah. I mean, I don't. Yeah. So I was just scrolling Twitter then, and I saw a couple of mentions of the whole the European coefficient in terms of how Champion Europe is laid out, how Challenger Europe's laid out. Obviously, top 5 leagues in Champ Europe, and then the next 5 or next 8 or 9 now, I guess, with Austria and whoever in Challenger Europe. But the Dutch, the Netherlands, have a higher coefficient this season or this end of this season than France. So France are now 6th. Which means they're not in the top 5 leagues on paper. So does that mean that the Eredivisie then comes into Champion Europe? I mean, the discussion was on Twitter. It's not confirmed or anything by Sorare, but it's an interesting question. I don't see how it wouldn't be if we're going off how that was. If that's how it worked before, I just don't. I don't know if they went off complete coefficients and that was it, or did they just go, well, Sorare is in in France. It'd be weird for them not to be in the better, I guess, region, objectively. But I don't know. It's an interesting one. Let us know what you think in the comment section. But I think it should be fluid. Like if somebody pops into that top 5 that isn't in the top 5, then I think it should change. Personally, I don't know how you guys feel.
Yeah, so this has been going for a while. The Netherlands team are playing better than a French team in the European competitions. Like Feyenoord won the. It was the third thing. How is it called?
Conference League.
Yeah, the Conference League. They won it last year, so they get a lot more points. And now they overtook the French teams in the French league in the 5th position. So it's like 4 seasons or 5 seasons that this has been coming, and it will be tough for the Sorare to decide what they do there.
I've seen the numbers are like, so it's 52.1 points for the Netherlands and France is 51.914. So just to tell you the difference between Netherlands and fourth, which is Germany have 69.552. So it's like 17 points away, but fifth and sixth are like 0.1 point away from each other. Basically, the rest are kind of spread out a little bit more. England are way ahead with like 88.9. Portugal are in seventh with 46. So not terribly far away from France, but enough to where there's a bit of a cushion.
Well, that's why I was going to kind of come in on this, because I remember this discussion happening not that long ago with Portugal, and I think it was maybe, as I was thinking about it when we were coming on, maybe it didn't actually happen with Portugal, but it was possible if PSG get beat off of somebody and Benfica got to a semi-final or something, that Portugal would have finished it. May have been last season or something. Do you know what I think it was, by the way? I think it might have been Italy, might have been, I can't remember what it was. But anyway, it was Portugal that were close to, or did momentarily break into the top 5 on the coefficient, and it didn't change in that instance, so I think it might be. I think Sorare, for consistency's sake, will probably anchor it into like the prestige of the division. The Feyenoord are a great club, Ajax, PSV, great clubs, but France, like even if you take PSG away from it, you still get teams like Marseille who've got a great European record and they've got a lot of history in that league with other teams like Lyon. And if you go back through the annals of time, Saint Etienne and maybe one or two others. So, and again, Holland has that as well, of course, but I don't know. It would feel wrong for me for France to be in Challenger. Like, as an experienced Sorare player, and even if I was brand new opening it up, the Dutch division's rated higher than the French one. It would, particularly when they've still got guys like Mbappe in the division. If Mbappe and Messi and Neymar, all these guys leave, then maybe there's more of a discussion to be had, I think. But it's tight, isn't it? As you say, the points, there's not much in it.
It just depends on what their stance is, isn't it? It's what, how did they come up with Champion Europe? Did they use the coefficient? If the answer to that is yes, then unfortunately it has to change, right? That would be the logical, process to change it if it needs to be changed. But if that's not how they made up the top 5, and they just handpicked them, and they, so be it, were the top 5 at the time, then I don't know how their processes work. But maybe someone in the chat knows. But it's an interesting discussion nonetheless.
Another thing we need to discuss here is that we have second divisions, and we don't have the Netherlands second division. So imagine having the Netherlands second division as well, and every team that kicks into the top 5 will get the second division too. It's kind of problematic.
Okay. Yeah, good point. Yeah. If that is the case as well, then if you're in the Champion Europe, you automatically get a second division on Sorare, basically. Then that would be an interesting one. Good point. Maybe everyone's going to start buying Eredivisie 2. Well, it's not even called the Eredivisie. Whatever it's called, the second division in the Netherlands. Everyone will be buying their cards up now. Groningen cards will be flying off the shelves.
Van Veen to the moon again, eh? But fist bumps to everyone that's joining us, and I think it's probably about that time, guys, where at least we'll get started with the matchups tab and just see the biggest fixtures that we've got on paper. Now, with the internationals, there's so many more dimensions to these fixtures, because some of them do, it is kind of like a double game week for a lot of teams, but even the ones that don't, they probably play a friendly or something, because it is like a full international window. So you find the teams, not all teams anyway, totally miss a match day opportunity. So be mindful of that as well with some of these fixtures. But in international football, as you can see, it's staring you right in the face, this matchups tab. There's a clear divide between the haves and the have-nots in international football. You've either got elite talent or you don't. And the expected score for the France goalkeeper of 146 points is mind-boggling, to say the least. I don't know how that average is possible.
It's probably combining the two matches. France have a double game week.
They do have double. That's the thing. So a lot of these do have double game weeks.
Yeah,
and that does make
it is a bit
even
broken.
Yeah, it's really broken, especially for France, England, obviously Wales, but they're not as broken as France and England. Who else has a double matchup? Can you remember?
Basically, everyone who plays tonight with the Friday Cares.
Well, yeah, but apart from Bosnia, I know they're not a big team, but Bosnia play in the next game week.
Portugal only have one scored game this weekend.
Portugal only have one as well. Yeah, there's a couple.
Israel has 2.
Luxembourg has one, even though they're Luxembourg, but they have like a crazy good matchup, which we'll get into. But yeah,
I don't say that. I'm playing Chenot this weekend. Chenot's got 2 great fixtures for Luxembourg, Liechtenstein and somebody else, CAC. So Luxembourg to the moon.
My Luxembourg player as well. But the France one, Quinny, you say goalkeeper there. It looks like they're playing Bryce. Is it Bryce Samba? I think he's going to start because
no way.
Yeah, Mignon's injured, and they don't fancy Areola's second fiddle, so they're basically playing Bryce Samba for the first game anyway, because Mignon picked up a little knock in training or something. Turkey has 2 games, Siri tells us. Belgium has 1. Thank you for that. So there's a lot of OP sort of. I mean, we can't really put Turkey in there, but France and England are the definite standouts in the sense they have like a crazy good first fixture and a second one, if that makes sense. Well, they're always going to be favorites, but it's just guessing the team. I mean, like there's a lot, there's a couple of 70%ers there. You got your Griezmanns, your Mbappes, Konates at 90s, which is nice. But the rest are 70s. I mean, you don't mind seeing 70, but it does get a bit dicey. You just never know, especially against Gibraltar. Like, do they need to play the World Cup final team against Gibraltar? Barring the keeper, I don't know. Maybe it's a bit.
But they all want the stats. They all Griezmann will want a hat trick, Mbappe will want a hat trick. They'll all want the goals, man. Giroud's the top goal scorer on paper. He'll want a hat-trick. But when I look at this team, the first thing that jumps to my mind is Benjamin Pavard, 100. I think he's nailed on to score massive if he starts. Just with the way he plays and blah, blah, blah. He's in the shop window big time at the moment. Everyone's getting linked to him. And he really made his name playing right back in this France team, when he was at Stuttgart when they won the World Cup. So I think he is... that's what jumps out to me when I see that. If he starts, that's 100.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, this is probably the best fixture I've ever seen in the sense of like how good the one team is compared to who they're playing in the sense of like internationally as well. And like, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if we saw 65, maybe 70 across the board plus, if that makes sense. Like nobody below 70. I think that could be the benchmark if all things go how it should go, Do
you remember in the last international game week, Ake scored 140 points?
Yeah.
Against Gibraltar or something like that.
Yeah, 2 decisive.
Yeah, obviously it's capped to 100, but he ran it, from left centre back,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that kind of thing could be happening for the whole France team.
The England team's a little bit easier to kind of, well, not predict, but kind of, I guess predict, who's going to play in terms of their main guys. Saka, Kane, they're going to play Rice, Shaw, Maguire. I think Levi Colwill did make the squad, so it looks like Maguire's even more nailed on than he probably was. And then, I mean, Trent's a toss-up with Trippier. It's an interesting one. Both Sorare players, obviously, in the sense, they have cards, so that's an interesting flip. But you get 2 games out of them. That's the beauty, and that's like kind of the OP-ness, as Yehonatan says. It's like you can afford them not to play / even get off the bench in the first game, and and then just go smash the second game. Obviously, they could play. They could not play both, but the chances of that happening, I think, is kind of low for like a Trent and a Trippier to not play any minutes, or one of them's going to start 1 game each. Is probably the logical explanation. I don't know. I think the England one seems a bit more settled than the French one in a weird way. But obviously, I'm back. The main guys for France are going to play. It's just all the not fringe, but the players outside of them, the 70%ers. So I don't know. Like Chris is asking, is Theo going to play? There's a couple of like rumors that he's hurt, and I don't know it's hard to get information or up to date information on all this. But that's the name of the game, isn't it? To try and deep dive into all that.
Yeah,
what's this?
For sure.
Switzerland.
That was number 3.
Yeah.
Switzerland.
Great fixtures. Like Switzerland are the best team at. They are playing in the same group stage as Israel, and they are just levels above every other national team. So every international break, Switzerland is probably the best national team to have.
Interesting. What's wrong with Sommer? Is Sommer?
The manager said Sommer will only play 1 game and Kobel will play 1 game. So
interesting. At least, they said which one? Like
Kobel will play against Andorra. He will keep a clean sheet probably, and then Sommer is getting the tougher game against Romania.
Okay, that's good info. I mean, I don't know who's that. Zeki. If Seferovic played, I don't know who.
Mbolo got injured. Mbolo got injured in training. And they have Widmer is missing, so Stefan might play right back. They have some injuries, but they should be fine.
Yeah, they've got
This guy Stefan is like a wee right back. He plays midfield, and I
Yeah.
hate him in midfield. I think he's terrible. He's tiny, but he could actually be quite handy in midfield. And against Moldova, like, you know, I mean, I was talking about Pavard getting 100 from right back. You know, I could see him as a midfield card potentially being cheat code. His cap score is mentally high, but 65
Yeah.
is L15.
He's been
I don't know where
flying.
that came
He's
from.
Yeah, he
Has
plays
he?
in.
Oh wow.
He plays in
He plays in a
for
different league
Lugano.
now.
Lugano in
Yeah.
Switzerland.
Oh, does he moved? Oh
Yeah.
wow. I didn't know that. Of course, Big Akanji will be on for a big game as well. But yeah, I think it will just be a case of, like, especially these defensive players at Switzerland. You know, for these internationals, like you say, Yehonatan, they are the beasts. You know, they're the ones you want.
Yeah, I'm playing Elvedi and Ricardo Rodriguez with Summer in the same lineup, which can be really,
Nice little
really
stack.
good.
I mean,
Don't think anyone's playing Kazakhstan cards, are they?
No, I hope not. Anyway, but then Luxembourg. I mean, I don't know if we have. Yeah, we don't even have predicted lineup for Luxembourg, I don't think. But Quinny, I am in the know with Luxembourg. I'll have you know.
I see that.
Yeah, there's a Twitter account called, I think it's called, Football in Luxembourg. Shout out to them. And yeah, they've got like 3,500 followers or something. And I regularly, you know, in every international break, I'll have a little chat with the guy in terms of, because I have a couple of, I have one Luxembourg player and one of the forwards, and they played a friendly. Yehonatan was telling, well, I did know, but yeah, Yehonatan told me they played a friendly. Who did they play against? In Malta, wasn't it? I think it was Malta.
Yeah.
They drew 0-0, which was a bit disappointing, which was last week or the start of this week or whatever. But they have a massive qualifying game against Liechtenstein, who are literally, they're Gibraltar level in that sense, or maybe worse. Like, they just don't score goals, they don't win games, obviously, and even though Luxembourg aren't like a crazy good team, they have a couple of good players. Dylan Barrero plays in there, who plays for Mainz in the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
The Sanchez fella that I've got, he's a young kid who plays for Gladbach, but doesn't really get in the squads. You've got Chanot. Like, they've got some decent players. So, like, it should be like, even though Luxembourg aren't like France, but they have like a France-like fixture in a weird way. It's hard to imagine, but they kind of just do.
They could win 1-0. Luxembourg, they get those kind of results at that level. They could beat somebody 1-0.
They could even win like 5 or 6. Like they're 85%.
It's not beyond them.
On to win. 71% clean sheet. Like they have the same probability almost as England to get a clean sheet. So that just tells you how bad Liechtenstein are. And they're at home, and they basically they really.
The game is sold out.
Is it? Oh
wow!
Cool.
Yeah. A lot of fans going there.
That's amazing. So yeah,
Vamos Luxembourg.
Vamos Luxembourg. I mean, this Portugal fixture is like quite sneaky. Like Bosnia are no mugs though. Like I know they're away from home, and Portugal are wow. Like if you look at their starting 11 and even the bench is frightening, right? But like it just doesn't surprise. Like I know I'm a Costa owner. I want him to keep a clean sheet, but just you just never know. Like they can always nick a little goal. I don't know if Dzeko's playing. He might not be, but like they've got some decent players, Bosnia. So you can't. I don't think. Apparently. Oh, he's playing. Okay. Like set pieces. Pjanic, Dedic, Dzeko. Like they've got some half decent players. Kolasinac, Barisic, who plays in the Croatian league. Like they're no mugs, is what I'm getting at. But Portugal are obviously a different level. You'd expect a nice little 2-3 on a good day, but international football's funny. And sometimes things just don't go your way. But what a starting 11 that is for Portugal.
Yeah,
right?
insane.
Like I can't see them conceding a goal. Like I get you with Bosnia. Like Pjanic can take a ball. Hadzimetovic, we know, is handy. Big Dzeko's, the captain Bosnia, as it were, rather than captain whatever. Yeah. But this defense, man, big Rubes, Pepe and Inacio, Rafi G, Cancelo, Diego Costa. That just says clean sheet to me. Like
it does.
That back five.
Pieces, and then it takes one ball. It's just like, it takes one corner.
And they have Dedic.
The big Pepe, Diaz. But I think, man, this Portugal team are better on paper, better than the one that won Euros and stuff like that. Like Ronaldo is still up there to do whatever with Felix. Maybe this is the weakness in the team, is maybe where maybe goals will come from. But they'll be making chances. They'll be getting shots away. But I think this is maybe a boring game, if anything, potentially. Rather than
Ronaldo scored like 5 goals, I believe. Last international break is when he comes back to Portugal is insane.
Yeah, true.
I mean,
and at home as well.
Yeah. No, it's a great fixture. Don't get me wrong. Like the stats are there to see, and you can see the quality of their team. But I just know Costa, and I just know sometimes that I'm just in for a hard time when I shouldn't be.
Dzeko is threatening.
Yeah, like there's bags of goals in Dzeko if he got the right service, but not against Portugal away. But hopefully they keep a clean sheet. Czech Republic, decent fixture. Well, very good fixture. Faroe Islands away. I mean, I don't know how many Czech Republic cards we have is the issue. But
no predicted 11 for them or play sharper.
Okay.
So.
I can't think of
not a lot of cards.
Darida, I think, plays somewhere. He's like a forward. Midfielder, sorry, he's in the Bundesliga. Suchek, okay, yeah. The right back for West Ham as well. So I don't really, we could probably skip that. Denmark, at home to Northern Ireland.
What Denmark fixture is it? The Northern Ireland one? Denmark have 2 fixtures this game week as well.
Yep. Charlie says, got to eventually get some use out of Big Basuni this week. Yeah, I feel you on that, Charles. Denmark team's sneaky. Like if you've got an Eriksson, Janssen who plays for Brentford, Højbjerg, it's a Premier League midfield, and it's there's a Premier League, an Italian league, and a Bundesliga forward. Like it's a good Denmark team. We've seen how good they are against bigger teams. Let's see how they can kind of get on against like they're gonna dominate possession. They turn up against your Frances all the time, and they always seem to beat France in every Nations League game. So I'm not saying they won't beat a Northern Ireland team here, but I can't see them being no mugs. The back four is ridiculous, really, as well. Okay, we haven't got Northern Ireland.
That's what I was going to say. The defence is really the thing that grabs me here. Yeah. Like that backline in a game like this is amazing, man. Like they all can pass, they all can attack, they can all put adventurous balls forward. And if Northern Ireland campaign and give them possession, that defence could be the playmakers, and then the midfield are pushing the forwards even higher.
Get like so many attempted assists and stuff flying down that wing, and Miley as well. But Christensen and Anderson will probably just be passing.
Miley loves coming in, getting goals and stuff like that, back post and whatever. So like he could be a great shout for a goal in a game like this.
Mm-hmm. And Højland might want to move this summer, so he would like to score a couple of goals.
Yeah, this is a really good fixture. 58% clean sheet. I mean, like, there's just so many lopsided fixtures this week. Unless you have those cards, man, it's gonna be tough. I know there's MLS and I know there's other fixtures, but there's just some crazy OP fixtures, and they have another fixture to go with it. Like they don't even just have one of these games. They have 180 minutes plus of this, which is scary. Especially like I don't have many French or England players, so like I'm having to avoid a lot of them. Your Mbappe's and stuff in under 23s, but that's just obviously part of the game. But Turkey up next. Yeah, that was loud, wasn't it?
By the way, guys, looking at this team, does this not give you like shades of like maybe, I don't know, maybe going out a wee bit of a stretch here by saying like Belgium or Portugal, right? But like 10 years ago, like you're just like, oh wow, by the way, that team is actually like there's something in there, like man, like. There's some good bits in that team, and if it gets fleshed out, maybe a better goalkeeper is what you would maybe look at on paper without knowing this guy, But we Ferdi, Demirang, I'm a huge fan of, always injured, but Celik, of course, we all know very well from Lille and Roma, Kokcu, Guler, Hakan Calhanoglu, I beg your pardon, and we up top, we Undertaker.
Yeah,
no Enesuna, he's injured, we know that, and then the other boy. Actoglu.
Yeah, he's really good in Turkey.
Yeah, he's been insane. The midfield three is frightening, isn't it? Really, from like a so rare perspective. Like, how good was Calhanoglu on his day? In Champ Europe, and then obviously Kokcu and Gula's been a revelation since coming into the Fenerbahce side. And I don't know. This is. I mean, I went to watch Wales play Latvia not too long ago, and we played them at home. Fair enough. And we absolutely I think it was the most possession. Like Wales don't normally have too much possession, right? But in that game, we had like the most we've had in like 5 years or so. It was a 70-30 game, basically. We had 70% possession. Haven't had that for ages. I can only imagine what this Turkish side with a midfield three of that are going to have against, them, albeit away. They weren't terrible, Latvia, but they, we dominated them. Turkey will probably do the same. They're in our group, ours in Wales. So we play Turkey as our second fixture, which will be really tough. Away in Turkey as well. So Turkey play away first game and then they play home to Wales after that. But this is a good fixture, really good fixture away to Latvia.
And Dunder has been amazing this season. Unreal.
Who, sorry?
Cengiz Under.
Under, he's been great. He has been great. And then it's my whipping boys next, Quinny.
Hey, Harry's Wales stacks. Finally got a great fixture. Is that a great fixture because you're against probably one of the hottest guys in MLS this week?
Yeah, I mean, Zelarayan is floating about, isn't he, in there? You've got Spurtian as well from Krasnodar. So there's a couple of tricky, number 10 like players that we have to look out for. But I mean, yeah, it's a good fixture for us. We're in a good position in the group. We've got 4 points. We went away and got a point against Croatia. Like, who does that these days? If we're being honest, right? And then we won our first game, so we're 4 points after two games played. If we win tonight, like, it puts us in a really good position because Croatia don't play for a little while because they have the Nations League final or whatever, right? So we'll have a bit of an edge on that, I guess, even though Croatia will probably top the group. I think we have a great chance of qualifying if we win tonight. And there's some, we've got the firepower right now. Like, everyone's fit. Like, players you aren't even seeing on that tab there, like Brennan Johnson to come into that. David Brooks is fully fit. He's not going to start, but I think Brennan Johnson has a better chance to start than what this is showing personally. Now that I've like listened to the manager speak and stuff, he said we're going to change formation a little bit. So that tells me that, yeah, we probably do go to a back four. We normally play a back five or a three. I mean, yeah, Ramsey's nailed. Like, you don't have to worry about that. There is, like, Ampadu's been playing for Spezia. He just got relegated. His third relegation in his career. Bless him. So he literally played on Wednesday and then joined up with the team on, like, Thursday. So I don't know if Ampadu's going to play personally. I think they might rest him and then do something else. Maybe put Morale deeper, put, like, Wilson in the 10 or whatever it is. The formation won't look like that, I can guarantee you. We won't play a 4-3-1-2. It'll be either a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1. Ben Davis, it says Ben Davis is injured. He is not injured. So I can just tell you for free, he has a really good chance of starting. Very good, maybe even a better chance than Nico personally. And I don't like saying that as a Nico holder. But, the Armenia team's no mugs, like I said. Spurtian, Zelarayan, there's some decent players. That other guy plays for CSK on the right wing. Tizaksan or something. However you pronounce it. But yeah, the rest of them, I mean, I don't really know who they are, but that's fine.
No Mkhitaryan. Imagine Mkhitaryan in this team as well. That'd be a wee dodgy team to play for sure, man.
Mickey as well, yeah. Nice. Like you said, Zelarayan, one of the hottest sort of players right now in the MLS after his halfway line clearance. But no.
Definitely doing that to Danny Ward.
I know. Well, Danny Ward had a broken finger recently, so he hasn't played for a while. Obviously, got dropped by Leicester, got relegated. I thought Hennessy was going to come in and play personally, and he still might. Like, don't just look at that 85 and think he's definitely playing, because I can guarantee you it's a lot closer than that. So it's an interesting one. This Wales team is weird. Like, I can't even predict who's going to play because there's so many uncertainties. Even though we got everyone fit, basically, is the issue. But I've got a Wales stack going into Cap 240, so that'll be fun. Albania, I don't think is there many Albanian players on there?
Yeah, they are.
I mean, they might not. There is a couple, yeah.
We have a predicted 11 for Albania. We have a predicted 11. Strakosha in goals. Another Atalanta player, Dramitsi. Hisanj. Ramadani of Aberdeen.
Okay.
Sani. Uzuni. I know that Uzuni, when D2 came out, he was a big under-23 buy, I think. Maybe I'm wrong.
Great,
but I think.
He's
and this other guy plays for Konyaspor. I don't know him. But yeah, man, they've got more than half a team.
Yeah. I mean, on paper, it's as good as a fixture as the Wales one if we're talking odds. Like, it was the exact same sort of layout in terms of betting odds. So, yeah, I mean, and who are they playing? Andorra or Moldova?
Moldova.
So, yeah, this should be a really good fixture, actually, for if you've got those sneaky Albanian players. There could be a nice little differential in there for you. You just never know. That's kind of where the edge is here. Like, getting those sneaky Wales or Albania or like Turkish or Luxembourg. That's kind of where, if you are like not bargain hunting, but if you haven't got Mbappe's and Griezmann's and whoever's, that's kind of where you need to find your edge. And Yehonatan will tell you all about that, obviously, in due course, I guess. But I mean, obviously, we've got Israel coming up. So how is that?
Switzerland are back again.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say, man.
It is their away game.
Fixtures, man.
I was so confused, and I was like, I know they had two fixtures, but I didn't expect it to come up again. But is that Romania they play?
Romania away, yeah.
That's not that easy.
That's easy.
Really?
For Switzerland, it is easy.
Yeah, like yeah.
They are way too good.
No predicted 11 for it.
Okay.
Yeah, it will be the same with
Sommer in goals.
Yeah.
And then I guess it's your boys, Yehonatan, if you want to. I actually watched your under-21s. Side note, I watched your under-21s yesterday against Belgium. I don't know if you watched the game.
I watched the game. Tragic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was a little bit tragic, yeah.
Yeah,
Why was Gluck on the bench?
He wasn't on the
Oscar.
bench. He
Wasn't, was
with
he?
the he was with he's with the main team, and then he
I saw his name on that. I saw his name on SofaScore. Maybe they got it wrong.
No,
I swear his name
SofaScore
was.
got it wrong. He's
Yeah, they
with the
got it
main
wrong.
team, and he will start. So it is something we need to add to the guys in the chat and everything. Players can play both tournaments. They can play the Euro qualifiers and then go to the under 21. And Israel have a player who played the under 20 World Cup. Now he will play the qualifiers and then he will go to the under 21, which is crazy. Yeah.
No days off there.
No, Roy Revivo. He will be a great talent if he gets a Sorare card at one point. So Israeli lineup, we have Solomon, Baribo, and Abada. I'm pretty sure this will be the starting the attack. Then we have Gloch. Neta Lavi, I'm worried about him because the manager might want to play a little more attacking formation, and then he might want to play Ramzi Sfouri, who is playing for Paul Beersheva, and he has a really good long shot on him. So he can shoot a ball from outside of the box, and Belarus are going to play like park the bus, and that is my only worry. And Eli Dassa is nailed on a starter as well, and Leitner from Austria Vienna is injured and he won't play at left back. So this
great attacking talent in this team, eh? It's a golden generation up front, eh?
Yeah. Weissman will probably come off the bench for Bariba, but he won't start.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great front three. It'll be great to see Solomon, Gluck, and Abada together now because, like, you know, like when was the last time the three of them played together for Israel? Because Abada didn't play really in the last international break.
I don't think they have played these three together like since the Nations League or something like that. Mm-hmm. But Abada and Solomon against Belarus especially, they will like. I've taken a look on how Belarus play and stuff like that, and Abada will be very, very dangerous in this game. And then we play Andorra at home as our second fixture. So really, really good fixtures.
Nice.
Again, differentials. That's where your edge can get will come in handy, I guess. But we're almost on the cusp of the MLS sort of good fixtures. Belgium at home.
Well, I want to put a team on before we do Belgium, right?
Your boys are nowhere near it, Quinny.
Scotland are not going to come on this, right? So the Tartan Army, we're going to the Arctic Circle to go and fight the Vikings. So I've been waiting for this Norway team to actually come out because I picked it up. I'm not going to talk about it too much today, but I picked up a Christopher Ayer super rare like 2 days ago, and I thought, maybe get a wee shot at him, but he's not definite to start behind this guy who I've never heard of. But it's a strong Norway team they've got at the moment. We're talking about kind of that Israel and that Turkey kind of vibe that's going on in attack. But Odegaard and Haaland, both been around for years, both got a significant amount of caps now for the age they are. Both coming off the back of pretty good seasons individually. And, you know, when you partner that with some of the other guys they've got, you know, they've moved around Europe already. Like around this here, Patrick Berg and Solbakken, you know, moved into Italy and some other places for better or for worse. So quite a handy wee Norway team. You know, guys, you tell me, looking at both the teams here, I still fancy Scotland to do the business here. I think we could go and beat the Vikings.
It's going to be a tough old day for you boys.
You need to score more goals than they do.
You're playing against Haaland. Can we just Haaland and Odegaard? I think just give those two the ball, and there's not much. You know, you don't really need much else to happen, do you? Really? Against this Porteous Hendry, come on, this is Haaland we're talking about.
It'll be fine. Jack Hendry is he's the Scottish John Stones. He'll be able to handle Haaland. He'll be able to put him in the back pocket. And we'll get the two best left backs in the world, you know. So that's all you need. If you get the two best left backs in the world, then you're the best team. You know, that's the way it goes. It's cheat code.
I mean, yeah, the bookies don't think it's like a crazy good fixture for Norway, which is not. Like, I think it's fairly sort of priced. You know, you've got a really good midfield. Dykes is interesting as a player. I mean, he'll give you 139%, but I don't know if that's going to be.
He's not Haaland, is he?
Yeah, he's just not Haaland, is he? The tattoos are there. Like I can respect the tattoos, but they've got some good players. Norway. I know we just went over it, but like Arnaus has been incredible for Benfica. Like incredible since he moved from Feyenoord. Obviously, Haaland, Odegaard, And Al Nusi was going to actually move from Southampton. I mean, yeah, the back four isn't crazy good, but they come from decent teams. Like Melin plays for Rennes, and the Leo fella plays for Napoli. And like you said, I don't know who the Olsen and Reyerson players are, but
Reyerson is from Dortmund. Holson, I believe.
The right back. I've watched him play. Yeah. He's actually really good. He's decent. He's Holson
was at Club Rouge or something, and he moved to Germany. I'm not sure where.
Yeah, he's super sharp. But yeah, I mean, the Odegaard-Haaland combo is what you've got to avoid here, isn't it, at all costs? And I'd be shocked if Scotland get a result, but you just never know. You never know.
Exactly. We just beat Spain, We're top of the world.
Yeah.
You're flying high. Just pump Spain.
I think he does, yeah. He seemed to be back fit playing for Bruges, and I think Jack Hendry, if fit, plays for Scotland. I think he's the number one centre-back for Scotland. He will be centred here. It's not going to be Porteous. Porteous will be on the right behind Hickey. Let Hickey go forward and be the winger, similar to what you see with Robbo. But no, I think Hendry, if fit is a stick-on, will definitely play. I think the manager loves him. He's always been good for Scotland. The midfield I like as well. This position here, but it's always in question. Is it going to be Armstrong or Christie or whoever? So that could be a coin toss. I wouldn't bank on any of them. And Lyndon Dykes. We've got a picture of him here. Do we have Dykes cards?
We might have it.
I didn't know we had Lyndon Dykes cards.
Neither did I.
We have a picture of him.
Lyndon Dykes. No.
He doesn't have a picture on Sorare. That's bizarre.
Yeah, that's weird.
Confused me for the sake of it.
But
then the next proper fixture, Harry, was Belgium, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I fancy Scotland to do the business, and I'm backing us. I'll be stacking Scotland. Double left back.
up the Scots. Belgium at home to Austria, which is interesting. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's below all the sort of mega fixtures that we've seen. I never really fancied Belgium personally, as just a nation in that sense. Like, they've really underperformed over the last X amount of years. Is it that good of a Belgium team? Like, no De Bruyne, like Mangala, Tielemans, Vanaken, Luke. It's good, but I don't know. Austria, no mugs, man. Vertonghen's still kicking about. Obviously, world-class keeper, but Austrian team, man. Like Arnautovic, Kainz, Wimmer.
Yeah, that's the upset of the week, isn't it?
Yeah, this is like this ain't like this is not a game that I'd be like, wow, I'd be playing Belgium cards. And I know the matchup tab is not exactly shown us to play Belgium cards because it is quite far down in the pecking order. But man, I just look at the personnel. Like, they're not that good. If that makes they're good players, but like they're just they're okay. I'm not seeing any world class players there. If I'm being honest, there's just not one there.
No, De Bruyne. Okay, he's injured.
Courtois won. But other than that, there's not a world-class player there for me in that Belgium team. Obviously, De Bruyne injured, like you said. Belgium are underwhelming, if I'm being honest. Sorry to all the Belgium folk we have, but I don't know. They're just an underwhelming nation for me and have been for a long time.
Yeah, and Austria are looking good. Like, Kainz is a great player. Baumgartel is a great player. Both playing the Bundesliga. Wimmer, Alba.
Yeah, Leinhardt, Wobber. There's some good players in. Like, that Austria team is no different, barring goalkeeper, than the Belgium team for me in terms of personnel. Obviously, Noosa season saying Doku. Yeah, I don't know where would Doku come in for Dodi, I guess, on that. Is he behind? Yeah, he's behind him. So, yeah, putting Doku in there, scaring a few defenders, maybe second half might change the complexity of that game. But that starting 11 for me is just okay. Like, I'm not, I'm not like too gassed on playing Belgium cards personally.
Welcome to the club. Well, I'll welcome you properly on Wednesday, but thanks very much, my man. And yeah, thanks a lot. I'll talk to you more about that later when we get finished with this. But thanks very much, mate. Appreciate the support.
And now, Quinny,
up the Barcelona.
Up the Barcelona. And now we get into the old MLS. And I did say I would announce a fixture. I'm going to. And it does coincide with the next fixture on our matchup tab, which is Nashville at home to St. Louis FC.
Lovely.
So I'm traveling up, down, or left, right to Nashville tomorrow, whatever way it is. To watch Nashville. I've watched them before a couple of times. I've never been to the new stadium, so that's going to be a really fun experience. On paper and in odds wise, Nashville do have the advantage. I think there's no Walker Zimmerman. Obviously, he's way with the US team. So that's going to be a big miss. St. Louis are losing that Lowen, however you pronounce it, the captain, the Bundesliga
Leuven.
player. So yeah, Leuven. So there's a couple of absentees in terms of their both sides, but obviously away from home, home advantage is quite big in the MLS, or very big. Not because there's a distance issue with St. Louis or anything, but just in general. And I mean, if Mukhtar's firing, that you've still got your Mukhtar and Bunbury. Like, there's some decent players in here. Big Dax is playing. It's just a decent enough MLS team, in that sense. But so is St. Louis. Like, they're no mugs. Who's that? Harry, don't come back without an Os. Ostrack decisive for St. Louis. What position is he? Is he a forward? I don't even know who he is. But it should be a good game. And yeah, for me, because who St. Louis are missing, I think this is a good fixture for Nashville. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah, Nashville are just raining it down there now, aren't they? Going from strength to strength at the moment, and Big Hanny Mukhtar has definitely been raining it down. And the home thing is particularly prevalent for some teams, as you say, Harry. Sometimes that is a climate thing, a distance thing, or whatever. But in St. Louis's short time, they've definitely made their home stadium a fortress more than other MLS expansion clubs we've seen over the past 10 years or so. So basically, you see a wee bit more vulnerability from them when they do travel, because they've not got that full stadium of fans backing them, which does make the difference. And if they're missing a player or two, could be a good one. But I'll have wee Burkey in my draft. I think he'll still score mega points. He's invincible for me. He is fixture proof, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could be a good fixture. Loads of saves to make. It's interesting. It is an interesting one. Who do we have on below that? DC at home to Salt Lake. This is a weird one for me. It plays into the whole, playing away from home and whatever. But Salt Lake have really turned it around recently for me. They're creating a lot more chances. Severino Ruiz has come back into the side. Pablo Ruiz, that is, and done well. Don't get me wrong. DC have been good as well, especially at home. So I do kind of get it. But I don't know, man. This is a tough one to call for me personally, especially clean sheet wise and all that business. I wouldn't be backing either clean sheet for either team here. Obviously, Benteke, you've got some really good players in that DC side who, they probably should beat Salt Lake, but I don't think it's a clean sheet shoo-in in that sense.
Yeah, I think who was it they had in midfield earlier? Was it Canus or something? What was the guy's name? Or is that a different team I'm thinking of? I don't know, but I hate back in DC in any way, and RSL, I hate both these teams, to be honest with you. So I could, I really
could be a dead rubber. It could be a weird one all. Yeah, I mean, I've got that Diego Luna. He's just come into the side, plays for the US under 20 side. He's like this 2'2" little winger / number 10. He's frightening. He scored 20 AA last game in 60 minutes. He did really well. There's not many cards.
I've got no idea what just happened, but the system seemed to sneeze on us. I think we're still live. I've got no idea what just happened.
Let me check.
Yeah.
We're still live.
Yeah, that was just really bizarre. No idea what happened. But there we go. We're talking about RSL and DC. Sorry, I think the computer hated the fact that we're talking about RSL and DC. And it's
probably.
Guys, get away from this fixture. It's brutal.
I was pumping my under 21 players for RSL.
Diego winner, of course. Yeah.
This is probably the most favourable fixture for me if I was, if I had New England players, would be that home fixture against Orlando. Obviously, Gil United or Heel United, or probably, smash an 80 plus. I'd imagine they do have a goalkeeper scenario though this week. So Petrovic is away with the Serbian national team. So Big Earl Edwards is in goals, and that's kind of confirmed. But apart from that, full strength. Polster's been really good recently. Obviously, Heel, Boo's back in the side. Bobby Wood, Noel Buck's apparently back from the US side. So it's a good enough, New England side. Don't get me wrong, Orlando are no mugs, but they are missing Facundo Torres, who's their sort of talisman, sort of DP, one of their DPs. So that'll be a massive miss, I think. Maybe more than you could ever sort of envision. And their goalkeepers away as well. So Galicia's away with whoever at the Gold Cup.
Peru.
So Yeah, Peru. So there's there's absences for both sides, but obviously the fact that Heel's still there for if you take Heel out, it changes, but he's there. So unfortunately, it's a really good fixture for New England.
Cool. I think at this point we should probably take it into the prize pools because there's a lot of power fixtures here. It's hard to really judge, and especially with some of the squads that we've seen already. Really, how difficult is it going to be out there? But one thing we do know is there's not that much to fight for in the international break because of just the way the prize pools work and whatever. So I think we should probably have a wee gander through it and just see, like, for the majority of the kind of core, like, limited and rare divisions, what is it sitting like now? How many cards are out there and how many people are playing? And is there any kind of wee alternate routes we can maybe take to try and get a wee sneaky win for a well-built stack or something?
Yeah, so we will start with the limited. In All-Star Limited, we have 500 prizes, and only $150 for top place, and then if pays out down to 100th place, and then 150 tier 5s. In the cup divisions, we don't really have a lot of rare cards given out this game week, like only 4 in Cup to 40, only 8 in Cup to 70. I don't think we have any star rares in these divisions. We have like tier 5 rare, a tier 3 at the top of Cup to 40, only a tier 2, I believe, here in Cup to 70. Yeah, tier 3 in Cup to 70. So a really small prize pool, and not a lot of if, at least in the limited divisions. And in the rare divisions, we also only one super rare in Cup to 40, only one super rare in Cup to 70. So not a lot to fight for, it seems like.
It's a weird one, isn't it? Like yeah, you want to buy for the international breaks here and there, but like you can't be buying like full teams for the sake of what's on offer in terms of prizes. Like there's just no return on it in that sense. Like your odds are so low of winning. Really, it becomes tough. If you need one or two players here and there, I get it, and fill gaps where needed, and maybe they have utility for next season. But if you're just buying players outright for like one game week, it happens. If it's if it's cheap enough and it makes sense, then fair enough. But it does come with a bit of risk, because it, like Yehonatan says, like there's just not much to fight for, unless you go in for like the Ethan stuff where you're just fighting against yourself. Obviously, in terms of Cap 240s, that's kind of where, like for me, I'm just going into this game week looking at, okay, I've got a rare goalkeeper. Can I win the threshold? I'd be happy with that. I don't have to win a card this game week. It's a free hit in that sense. Can I just end the game week with 250 points in Cap 240 rare is what I'm personally playing, and obviously it's all relative in that sense. But yeah, it's a weird one. Obviously, we get more fixtures next game week in that sense. So game week 382, we've got the under 21s coming in. There's more MLS again, so that's kind of where well, the prize pools are a bit bigger. You can check them if you go into play and then go into prize pools. They are there for anyone to see. I think there's there's 11 prizes in under 23 rare pro this weekend. There's like 19, I think. Next midweek.
19.
Yeah, so it kind of doubles, but everything kind of doubles. Let's just say, rule of thumb wise. So that that's more exciting in that sense. It's more to fight for. But yeah, it's an interesting weekend. I think just be happy with bare minimum this weekend is kind of what the rule of thumb is, I think, for me and for most people.
And with international breaks, you can play like players with really low L15 in cup divisions, and when they have double fixtures, let's say Elidasa is L15 is like 36, with 2 great double fixtures, he can score 100, and then it is really hard to compete in the cup divisions.
Yeah. And like his first fixture doesn't change his outfit. Obviously, you're locked in anyway, so it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Yeah. The double fixture thing's the OP thing for me this week. I have 5 players in Cap 240, and they all have double fixtures. So like, on paper, it's hard to not hit it, I think, in a weird way, especially with the fixtures they have. Like if they had dire fixtures, then fair enough. Then it's hard, regardless of how many games you play. But the fact that they have a couple of good fixtures each, I have 2 shots at Cap 2, to just hit 250 points. I say that now, and I'll get 5 DMPs for both games. But that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles, isn't it? Sometimes. But no, I'm excited nonetheless. What's Martin saying here? Will they play like Zellerian score for an America lineup, even though he's playing for his country? Good point. I don't think he does he?
No, they don't. No. Like he will only get he will get a 0 if you play him in America.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, good point. That's a really good point, actually. If anyone's not caught that. I guess he wouldn't even come up though, would he? Like if you Quinny go into or any
It can
go
come up.
into
Like,
it does come up, does it?
Yeah. If I go to MLS
Ooh.
Pro and like let's see Yehonatan.
Right.
He gets 2 games. It shows you the NYC game as well.
Yeah, but
Yehonatan.
Yehonatan only shows the
Oh.
NYC game. It does not show
Interesting.
the Luxembourg game.
Luxembourg. Wow.
And,
yeah, that's annoying. Yeah, that's really annoying.
Like he won't play. He's in Europe. He won't play this game.
Got you. Yeah, look out for them ones. That's tricky. That is that Chanel situation. I don't know what Zelarian's looks like. I don't own a Zelarian, but let me know, Martin. Let me know what it says. Like, does it show the Columbus Crew fixture or does it show the Armenia fixture? Is what I'd be interested to know. But it's all down to Opta. This is not Sorare's fault. Opta update the squads. Like Cherky's still not in the under 21. Like if you go on the Sorare lineup builder, he's still not in there for France under 21s. Similarly for other players as well. And that I guess is the same for these odd random nations and whatever. So yeah, it's an interesting game week.
Yeah, you need to be careful with that. But I believe if you like go in a global competition, I believe I have Yehonatan here. Yeah, it will show 2 games, but you will only play 1. So
so it shows the New York one in there. That's really
it
funny.
shows the New York one, but you will only play the Luxembourg one.
Yeah, 100%. That's interesting. Okay, but yeah, I mean, obviously.
So it's all about where do you think your best team could be, or that's an individual thing for everyone listening. Is like looking at who is the best 5 you've got because there's not that many prizes to go around, and like really like how many people are going to have more than one good team, understanding what divisions you can play and not play is probably quite important with that as well. In terms of if you're going to try and be cute and play those ones in, also avoid that. But what do you think about the cap divisions? I think 240 and 270 numbers. Well, I think the 270 number doesn't look that bad compared to what it's been in some other ones. But I suppose when you open it up, the quality might just be it's very low tiers. So
problem is you're going to have a lot of like that Earl Edwards guy got an L15 of 0. So like a load of like there's going to be those cheat code goalkeepers flying around somewhere like in those cap modes because you just get a free hit as a goalie and then you can go 60, L15 wise, 55, whatever. And you just got like 4 monsters with a goalkeeper that has a good fixture at home that has an L15 of 0. So, don't go thinking unless you have those, unfortunately, like you're just up against it. I'm up against it in capped, but that's fine. I'm looking to win the £50 or $50 and run, if that makes sense. So, but cap 270 is different. Obviously there's no ETH in there in that sense. And it's just cards. So, be careful because there's going to be some monster cards in there. You're going to see Mbappe, you're going to see Griezmann, you're going to see, a defender and a midfielder with an L15 goalkeeper, of 0. Like it's probably going to happen a lot more than you think. So yeah, be careful of that. But yeah, it's a weird one. It's a weird game week. Like there's just not much to go around. 7 cards in kickoff rare.
Yeah,
like
that's really bad. Kickoff rare is the worst competition on the platform. Really.
Yeah.
Quite easily.
Fair.
Yeah.
I think that's fair enough to say.
Like 1% get a card.
Yeah.
So Yehonatan, you were telling us you've got 9 teams going out this game week. Do you want to show us your international-based teams, especially? Let's not worry about MLS as much, but show us some of your wacky combos you've got with some of the nations around Europe.
In under 23, like Harry has been telling me before the stream, Neko might not play, but I will take this risk. We have Gloch, Abada, and Solomon against Belarus and Andorra. And then Mamardashvili will play for Georgia, and then he will play they have another game, and then he will go to the under 21. But the other fixture is only in the next game week, so only 1 game for Mamardashvili. But my outfield player has 2 fixtures this game week. That's a really strong lineup. Yeah. Another good lineup against Solomon as captain here. We have Sommer, Ricardo Rodriguez, and Nico Elvedi, the Switzerland stack. Sommer will only play the Romania game. And then we have Under against Latvia and Welsh. So that's a great
that's a
great
good
lineup.
Team, man. That's a really sneaky team.
And I have Solomon in two different lineups, like here, and then Solomon in 220 as well, with Cancelo, Remo Freuler, Brennan Johnson, and McIntosh. We haven't talked about the Kansas City LAFC game, but LAFC are missing Buanga, and they are missing like a lot of players for injuries.
Yeah, they're missing loads of players. Yeah, and they played midweek.
And they played midweek. They play
And
all
lost.
the time.
They play all the time.
Exhausted. Yeah. So if McIntosh can keep a clean sheet here, this lineup can do really, really well. And then MLS, we don't really care about this game week, but I have a little Nashville stack and Durkin and Walter. Then we have academy lineups with 5 starters. Like Mefam should start, I believe.
Yeah, he should play.
Davitashvili, Orsnas, and Vertonghen, hunting the $5 there. We have a Cup to 40 lineup. Like this is what I'm talking about Cup to 40. We have Coleman here with like 60 in his L15. Solomon again, Dasa, Baribo, and Peacock Farrell. Like this, Peacock Farrell plays Northern Ireland, Denmark, and then Azerbaijan. So we should be fine.
Oh, nice.
In 270, we have Hayen against Azerbaijan, and then some Luxembourg boys, Torgensson against Slovenia, and Netalavi. I'm not sure we will start the first game, so I've decided to put him here and not in that 240 lineup. And the last lineup we need to look on is another academy lineup. Chanot, Burgos Sanchez, Goodmanson, Palinia, all should start here as well. So 2 competitive academy lineups, Cup to 40. Like I'm playing every competition there is for me this game week.
Wow, I love it. I was just thinking then, obviously the Netherlands have a fixture as well now. They have a 3rd place playoff.
So
again,
here,
they playing?
Van Dijk
Italy,
might, Italy. Like Rono, if he gets 1 game, they have 2 fixtures. So if he gets 1 game, this might be like fight for the $5. But I don't trust in the Netherlands after what I've seen against Croatia.
Yeah, they didn't look great. You've got some really good lineups there. Obviously, really heavy Mano Solomon.
Yeah, 4 different lineups, but against Belarus and Andorra.
Yeah, I agree. They're 100 capable lineups, fixtures as well for him. So, that's kind of where it's a big risk in that sense, because if he doesn't smash, then your main lineup.
If he gets injured, I will cry.
Yeah, I would cry for you. I would cry for you, mate. But no, you've got a great chance there, mate. You've got some really, really sneaky. I love the Switzerland stack. That's a really
and there is really under 23 attack like Gloch, Abada, and Solomon. First time I'm playing all of them together. Really excited for
Beautiful. I love it. Nice. Some really good lineups. Quinny, how are you looking for this break?
I've got a couple of teams that look kind of halfway okay. I was just messing about with training teams as I was watching Yehonatans teams scrolling, but I'll give you mine. How many have you got out, Harry? I've still got a wee bit. I've still got a wee bit of fun to do. Yeah, I've still got a wee bit. So let me swap my screen. Sorry. No, I've got it. So I'll just go from the bottom and go up. So these are the dregs going into a 220 effort. Just, who cares? Really kind of vibes.
Yeah.
But this is my big team that'll be going out this week. Captain Abada in the 2 amazing fixtures. Super Rare McGinn and Tierney against the Vikings. Rafi Guerrero at left back. Should be amazing, hopefully. I'm more hoping with Rafi card, if he gets like 75, 80 minutes, I think he'll, without a decisive, probably do quite well because of the play they'll probably have against that Bosnia. And then Big Trubin away to Macedonia should be a pretty good Trubin game, So that's the best team I can make, and the only place it fits is All-Star Rare Pro. So that's the way I went that way.
And Trubin also plays Malta.
And Malta afterwards, brilliant. Best score wins, of course. And then with unique kickoff, I've put a 4-man effort into this because I don't fancy this to do anything in All-Star Super Rare. It's the only other place it could go, so why bother? The goalkeeper also won't play. Jack Hendry does, so that's a 4-man effort there. Giacomakis, I can't see him in a predicted lineup anywhere, but he's got 2 games, Ireland and Italy, I think, so they're not great either, but he should play one of them, and maybe he takes a penalty or something.
He should play. The manager likes him.
Yeah, maybe he does. Maybe I'm not crossing my fingers. But like 4-man effort. There's only 1 card on it. So and it's probably rubbish anyway. But it's that or training, and I'd rather go for this because it's a unique. And then I've got a 240 effort, which is hopefully going to snag my little dose of ETH for the week. And if I get Maxey to start, he got a decisive off the bench last week. So if he can start this week and get decisive, that'd be great. And if NYC could just sort the crap out, that would be great as well. And Chanot, like we mentioned, has got a good fixture as well. So no place in my squads for Robbo, Andy Robertson, Rafi Guerrero, and Chanot have kind of done him out of a job there this week. It is what it is. And then, I'm just throwing academy teams together to make sure the XP's getting up in the off season as well. But what I've not done yet is the draft. So I like to take these drafts halfway serious because I like to win stuff to give them away to folk, obviously. And I'm maybe screwed in midfield this week. There's not actually that many games, is there? So it's maybe actually a decent opportunity to... Who would I have up front, actually, before I go? I've got Magno. So maybe a nice wee... Right, guys, we've got a nice wee opportunity here. We can make 2 swaps. We could get rid of both my mids, which, I don't know if I want to get rid of my mids with my XP, actually, to go and... right, so what mids would there be available is the question, right? So who has a good game this week? I've got really expensive midfielders, so we could get anybody in. We've got Amada and Acosta. Zelarayan won't be playing, of course. So it's Heel,
of course,
and Mukhtar. We could get probably 68 and 63. 68 and 63. I've got some change. Now, we couldn't quite get both of them in. Wouldn't be too far away, but we could get Heel and...
You could, I think. Like it both.
Up front, who have I got? Magno and Rui Diaz. Magno's not in for a great game either. I would probably need to make 3 swaps to make this work. And then I think I'm probably bordering on, I'll just keep the XP I've got, to be quite honest. I don't have any other unlimited cards or anything going out as well. I think that is me, actually. I've just got training lineups to do. And then, Harry Boy, we'll see the action you've got running this game week.
Yeah, I've only got two little teams. I mean, like I say, the threshold is the bread and butter this week for me. Obviously, 2 fixtures for all. I wouldn't be disappointed if I'd seen a couple of these Welsh boys not starting, if that makes sense, this Friday, tonight, because it could just happen. Like, Brennan might be on the bench. Wilson could be. I doubt it, but they could be. Obviously, Bazunu as well. Hopefully, he starts for Ireland. So that's the Yehonatan pack. And then, under 23 Rare Pro. Like I said to Yehonatan, I don't know what the percentage is, but Nico's it's just weird. Obviously, he hasn't played, broke his jaw, trained, like he's training fine and stuff. Everything's fine in that sense, but just hasn't really played. And I just don't know how that'll bode in terms of the Welsh setup in that sense. And if we're changing formations, I just don't know how he's going to fit in with Ben Davies being fit now. So we'll see how that plays out. Obviously, 2 fixtures. He's the only one in my lineup with 2 fixtures. Costa at home, obviously, to Bosnia, and then the Santi and Magno combo. I bought in a Talis Magno Quinny. I don't think I told you a couple of days ago.
Beauty.
Yeah, I needed a forward because obviously Ferreira's going to the Gold Cup. Even though that's covered,
He's cheap AF now, isn't he, Magno?
So cheap, yeah. I got him off Basel. To be fair, like I traded a load of dross for him really, and gave him like 50 quid. But yeah, even as a card, he's like 0.15 ETH for a rare. It's ridiculous. I know he hasn't been unbelievable recently. Come off the bench a few times and not started, whatever. But there's obviously still a player in there. And if New York can turn it around, then it's you can kind of strike gold with him. And then I've gone for this is where I've struggled this weekend in terms of really pick it. Like I wanted to buy Gabby Pereira and go with triple New York, and I could have bought him, to be honest. Not like. I could have done it, but I think I'm just overdoing it for what's on offer in that sense. I keep forgetting, there's literally 11 cards on offer, man. There's 240 of us in there. I'm not saying all 240 have a goalkeeper in that sense, but at least half will, I think. So it's not going to be easy. And this Borges Sanchez has an unbelievable fixture. Obviously, Liechtenstein at home. I'm hoping he can sort of smash and get a little decisive for us and do the business for Luxembourg. But it's a good lineup as long as Nico gets a start in one of those games, basically, is what I'm banking on, which isn't guaranteed. Obviously, nothing's guaranteed. But that's kind of, I'd be happy with $50, whatever it is, and kind of close out the game week that way and go into game week 382, which is the next one. That's kind of where I come into my own a little bit more in terms of just having options,
Yeah. I think especially when the back end of this window starts to roll out as well. I think there's more MLS fixtures, whereas now there's only a little slate, and that does play a part in the prize pools as well. And you took us through the numbers earlier; they basically double into the next weekend. So more options, more choices then. But do you think Yehonatan, you've got 9 fixtures, you've got 9 teams going out in these fixtures. Harry, you've got 2. I've maybe got out of those ones, I've got 1 serious one or something, maybe 2. Yeah, well, I suppose let's just say 1 serious one. how many when you look at your teams, do you feel that you're going to be Yehonatan? I suspect you'll be quite confident, but how confident do you feel with the teams you are? Because the internationals is such an unknown of other Sorare managers. How good are their teams this week?
Yeah, with the doubles fixtures, it is really hard to tell, to be honest. Like England, if someone has an England stack against Malta, they can just be first tonight. But we do have the Friday curse, which will take place.
We do. I forgot about that. Jesus, thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, a lot of games this Friday, but then they can be like overturned maybe in the Monday games. So yeah, like having a big gallery, I have like 215 limiteds in my gallery is a huge advantage in the international game weeks. And of course, I built my gallery around these fixtures. But Sorare, like given such a small prize pool and not a lot of if, like I think under 23 limited, if you get first place, you only get $60 this game week, which is really, really low. But yeah, I think it is fun, and I love supporting like international games, and I love watching them. And when I watch Israel, and I know like I have Abada and Solomon, and they Solomon assists a goal to Abada, like it does not get much better than that, to be honest.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
The prize pool is only a bonus.
I think that's the big thing for me is I don't support a club in a weird way. Like I support my players, but because I'm a Welsh fan, being able to like have Welsh players playing and trying to win me something and trying to win themselves something, i.e. qualification for Euro, like it's such like a double bubble in that sense. Like and same for you, obviously, Quinny with Scotland. Like it just, I don't know, they're just kind of special game weeks in that sense. Like I'm happy if we win. I would take negative decisives or like I would. I don't care. Like as long as we win, if that makes sense, and progress in the groups and whatever, like I couldn't care less honestly if I win something on Sorare or not. But like Yehonatan said, it's a big bonus if you do, and it's great. But like that double decisive, if you got two players and they both get double decisive and you've got both of them and you captain one, and it just gets exciting. It's just fun. It just gives that little that little buzz in that sense, little edge to the game, and just a bit more on it in that sense. There's already enough on it, but it just gives you that little bit extra, that cherry on top. And yeah, no, it's just fun. It's a really, really fun little quirky game week. Like Yehonatan says, Friday curse though is something that I forgot about, unfortunately. But now I've been reminded of it. I hope it doesn't come back to haunt me. I haven't had a player play on Friday for a while actually, and now my whole gallery plays.
Now you have 5.
Yeah, literally. So it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
So let's see who is going to be Friday cursed. So we've got Finland, Slovenia, Belarus, Israel, of course, Denmark, France, Ireland, Turkey, England, as we've mentioned just now, and Wales. So a lot of Friday night action. And then we've got Antigua and Baruba versus Guadeloupe. So make sure you stay up late for that tonight. North American Gold Cup qualification, must-see game, of course. What do you think? Let's have a joke for a second, right? Let's have the state of the pitch that these people are going to be playing on tomorrow, right? What would you equate it to?
Jesus.
Antigua and Baruba.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't. I honestly, like, I have a friend actually who plays for Bahamas. He's played in the Gold Cup. He was my roommate in college and that. And yeah, some of the pitches they've had to play on is unbelievable. Like in that sort of Caribbean, side of the world in that sense, in terms of football. Like, yeah, they just, it's just infrastructure wise, it's just not there yet, and hopefully it improves in that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, there's some dodgy pitches flying about.
So a lot of Friday night action, definitely.
Yeah,
some banana peels potentially, but does international football suffer the Friday curse? But I'm not as sure because.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
not
weird.
Really.
Like, I was watching.
The gaps between the national teams are so big.
Yeah,
like France should still smash Gibraltar, I would say.
Oh, of course, yeah. Of course.
But maybe
I was watching the Italy. I didn't watch Italy-Spain yesterday. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Like the actual scores of the players. I know it's there's two big teams there in that sense, and they might cancel each other out SO5 wise, but the scores just weren't good. Like nobody was scoring that well AA wise, and I don't know. Maybe I know there's obviously, like Yehonatan said, there's some crazy fixture discrepancies in that sense, and I don't know. I just think outside of those tougher games, we're going to see crazy scores for France. And I think England will get a clean sheet. I don't know, like, obviously Kane will probably tuck 2 or 3. But, like, I don't know if we'll see, like, hundreds flying about everywhere. I think with France, France could be, like, bad for us in that sense. Like, if you don't have France players, you could be in a real bad scenario.
Yeah, but England have Saka, for example, who can get, like, 20 AA, and then he only needs 2 decisives.
Yeah. No, it's 100% possible. Don't get me wrong. But you just never know. They might do 45 minutes each. Like, if
the
games are
rotation
wrapped up, that's the problem. Yeah, the rotation. Like, if France score 3 at half time, I know, like, your main ones, like Quinny said, they'll want to stat pad and stay on, like your Mbappe's and that. But a lot of those players might just get dragged and just save them for the next game. Because why bother?
But it is it's not a friendly. So there's not like 12 subs to be had. No, but they only have so many subs.
6, though. I know, but there's still 6. It's half the team, isn't it? More than half the team. You're not going to sub your goalkeeper. You could literally bring on 6 players, and they're all fresh. And it's just a walk in the. You're playing against Gibraltar. You could play walking football blindfolded if you're Mbappe and still probably beat them. And that's just no disrespect to Gibraltar, but ultimately that's just the levels that they're at. And I just don't see why you'd risk. Why, you know what I'm saying? Why would you risk players playing 90 minutes against Gibraltar getting kicked to death when you could just bring them off at half time when you're 3-0 up, if they're 3-0 up, obviously?
Depends how many goals are scored.
Of course it is, yeah. It depends on how many goals are scored, but
get your hat trick and then get subbed off.
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah, and some of these national teams, for example, Andorra, their striker, I believe, is like his main job is a chef for a restaurant. So football is only a hobby, and he is playing like international football for his country. If you don't beat these national teams, it is a joke, to be honest.
Yes. So Raul says Mbappe will play now. Yeah, I'm not disputing that. I said that, those type of players who won all the stats and stuff, they're gonna stay on. But like Kanate and all the Pavard, like, what's the point? You just come off at half time, 60th minute, whatever it is. It's a doddle. It's a walk in the park. Like, you've just played a full season. You don't want to be. I know it's Gibraltar, so you're not going to have to work too hard anyway, realistically. But why strain your body more than you need to with another fixture coming up on Monday, right? Most teams play Monday, or is it Tuesday?
Monday.
Whenever it is. Monday, yeah.
If you play Friday, you play Monday. If you play on Saturday, you will play Tuesday.
So, yeah, I can't see how there's just not like mass substitutions and stuff if teams are like leading by a crazy margin,
And rotations in the second game, like we take the second game for granted, but if Mbappe gets like 100, he might not play the second game like fully, all 90 minutes.
That's interesting. David Taylor said, I used to play with a Gibraltar player at Cardiff Met, who's a university actually where we're from. We used to play in the third team for Met. On Wednesday, the following week, he played against Germany. That's impressive, to be fair. Playing third team at Met and then playing international football as well. I don't know why he's not in he can't be that good. Sorry, David. The Gibraltar player now. I've played that standard of like university football in the third team. Jesus. That's not ideal.
No. Unless it's a super high standard of the unit.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't know anyone who's played for Gibraltar. I know a lot of like Caribbean players in that sense, like in Wales. Like there'll be a lot that play. I had a friend in high school played for Antigua and Bermuda. My friend, like I said, in college plays for Bahamas, but he plays for a decent team out here. He plays for like a team in like New York. They're in the Nissa League, so they're pro, but they're not like MLS/USL. Like they're good players. Like he's a decent player. He's scored it's crazy. He scored national team goals. Like he's played for his national team, scored goals for them, and couldn't get into our college side. So that just tells you, scored is nuts. And he plays like right back as well, which is just even crazier. But no, it's interesting. It's an interesting weekend. But I'm just excited for it. So how many like game weeks do we have of men's international football? Like do we have game week 381, 382?
And then we have the under 21 Euro.
And then it goes into 21s after. Okay. So
and some of the 21 games will be played in the next midweek, in this midweek.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay. No, it's exciting. I'm excited for it. I really hope they do a special weekly for the.
They should.
I don't know. They should, man. Like
they should give out special cards or something for the podium. for collectability.
That would be cool. Or just put like a super rare or like a cheeky unique under 21 up there. People would go crazy for that. Like you can play 3 under 21 rare cards, whatever it is, like mixed scarcity, let's say. And then everyone's just fighting for this crazy super rare / unique under 21 card. We don't know who it is. It could be a tier 4, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. I think it'd just be really cool. I think it'd be really, really cool.
And there's the Gold Cup as well.
Gold Cup comes into things as well, yeah. So there's like
some of the fixtures
like 5 games.
Some of the fixtures there is like France, Malta, all over.
Like Canada.
Well, I watched the US team last night play against Mexico. I mean, there was like 10 yellow cards. It was crazy.
4 reds,
it was nuts. It was absolutely mental. I tell you what, Mexico have regressed so much, man. They are horrendous right now. Oh my God. They literally couldn't get a kick. Like, it was embarrassing. The first red card that like sparked it all, like Balogun's like nicked the ball off their centre back. And he's just, when the defender knows the striker's gone and he's clipped him, like just literally just swiped his leg. It was really bad, obviously straight red, and then a mass brawl broke out. Weston McKennie's shirt completely ripped, and then he got sent off for he just wouldn't stop arguing with the ref. The game almost got abandoned because they were like the fans were like using lasers and stuff in like Matt Turner's eyes, and it just got mental. There was some sort of derogatory term that I don't know what was said in the stadium, but the ref stopped the game at like 90th minute. Because they put like a big sign on the big screen saying like, don't say whatever you just said. I don't know what was said, but like something was said basically that shouldn't have been. The game almost got abandoned. It was crazy. But the US team, man, are looking so good. Captain Pulisic was insane. Reina looked crazy. Like who was at the back? It was Chris Richards and Miles Robinson as a centre half. Dest. I don't know if anyone in the chat was watching the game. Dest was taking the piss. Like he was like doing all these like flicks and stuff that like you shouldn't really be doing as a right back, but he's so like he is insane technically, right? But he was taking the piss out of him. Like it was really, really bad. Like, and they were just kicking him, and it was insane. Like it was a really good match to watch.
And he got sent off.
I only bought Mascherino Dest after watching him. Sorry guys. I only bought Mascherino Dest after watching him play for America, because like you say, like see when he plays for that national team, like he is like an amazing player, and you're like, wow, man,
he's incredible.
And you can see why Barca bought him. You can see why AC tried him, and you can see all the hype when he came out of Ajax. But he's a totally different guy at that America.
He's incredible. They all are though. Like they love. You can just tell. Like it's similar when Welsh players play for Wales, and I can imagine maybe for the Israelis and the Scots as well. Like they go there, and it's like not like Bale's like just. I know this is Bale now, but like they've described it as like a holiday. Like they're just playing with their mates, and they're just having fun. And there's no pressure, and the season's done, and it's just there's just a relief there, and they're playing with their friends, they're playing for their country, and when you watch the US players play, they're like on steroids. They might be on steroids. They very much like I can't put that past them, right? But they are phenomenal. Like I've never seen anything like it. Anthony Robinson is just I know he's decent in the Prem. Like, he is a good left back, but like. He is just an animal. Like nobody gets past him. He's running channels. He's clipping balls. Everything's flawless. Yunus Musa, I know you're a big fan of his, Quinny, but you should have seen him last night, man. Oh my God. No one can get near him. Like he receives the ball on the half turn. And because he's so quick, his first touch is like in front of him. And he's just gone. Like he'll just burst through the middle. He'll find a pass. He's just like, nobody can get near him. I don't know whether it was because Mexico was so bad or the US was so good. Maybe both. But even like at halftime, it was Clint Dempsey was one of the commentators on CBS or whatever, and like the Greg Berhalter like news came out at halftime that like he's going to be the coach again, and this is just a different topic again. But like he was so anti. Like he was like, why would you go back to the same coach you just had? Like you've just wasted X amount of months on investigation, this and this, whatever. And like, it was just a big, I thought that was an interesting discussion. I don't know what you think, but I mean, there's not many candidates is the issue for that job. And it's not like a crazy high paid job in world football. Prestigious, I guess, US, coach, whatever. But they've basically, I think Greg's got the job again, as far as I'm aware.
And he's a great coach.
I mean, is he not playing Gio Reyna in the World Cup because there was dodgy things going on with family? I don't know. He's that like Gio Reyna.
I think the job he's doing for the national team and how he's taking the place together.
He has the best win percentage.
is really good. And
he's changed them, but I think somebody could take him to the next level in that sense. Like he's done his role, and I don't know how much better he can make them in that sense. I think he's kind of peaked. He did well at the World Cup. Don't get me wrong. Got him at the group stage. Whatever. Looked shocking against the Netherlands. If we're being honest, didn't play arguably your best, one of two best players if you count Pulisic as the best. Reyna's exceptional. I know he hasn't had a great season really for Dortmund, but like I said with those US players, they just play different when they play for the national team. But I think they should have went for someone else, like somebody that maybe is an American. I know, like in international football, we see that a lot. Like we see it a lot more than maybe like some nations would like in that sense. Like if you're an American, are you that happy with a coach that is an American? I don't know. I know you don't get a say, but ultimately that happens a lot in international football. We saw it with who's the Belgium coach, or was the Belgium coach, now the
Roberto Martinez.
Like things like, I think there's value in getting in somebody that isn't from the country. They don't have like a biased view maybe, and there's just like, I don't know, there's weird like social sort of things that you wouldn't even think of outside of the footballing world.
Like, people from the West are like this, and the people from the South are like that, or all that kind of jazz and stuff.
And like you bring in a Mourinho to like the US team, I think it'd just be great. I think it, like marketing wise, it'd be insane. But so, do you get what I'm saying? That sort of like big figure in world football.
I think it would need to be a coach. Like I was, when you're talking there, I'm thinking about Gus Hiddink being the South Korea coach, and Gus Hiddink being the Australia coach, and Carlos Queiroz being the Iran coach. They need a guy like that that's a top end elite veteran. They've clearly got good talent, they've clearly got good infrastructure and coaches or whatever. But I think that's the sort of guy they need at this point. And I was again thinking, just as you're talking, I think Bielsa's taken a job. But, he would have been some shout as well, especially with Messi going there. And imagine you had Bielsa then at the head of the national team or something. It would have been... Because again, because of the way the national team works, obviously, that's what they're trying to do with Berhalter, and what they've been trying to do in American soccer or football over the last 20 years is have that trickle down, youth, grassroots, upbringing, and everyone kind of develops within a coaching framework and a player pathway and all that kind of stuff. And having somebody like elitely thought of, if that's even a phrase, I think it's probably what they're missing. They had Klinsmann as manager, obviously, for a number of years, and Klinsmann's decent, I guess, but like he's not like some of the other names we've mentioned, perhaps much more decorated as a manager.
Mm-hmm. I think they need Greg. But I don't think they need him now, is kind of what I'm getting at.
Again. Yeah, I think with international football, the thing you guys miss is that you need to have like a path ahead of you. And I will give you, for example, the Israel under-20 who got to finished third at the under-20 World Cup. These players have their coach since they were like 14, 15, and he's taking this group of players and he's training them, and we are... we got third at the World Cup, we got second at the under-19 Euro that was last season. Wow. And I expect him to be the under-21 coach soon, and then to be the senior national team coach. And I feel like with the United States, their coach, he's also taking these players that are now moving to Europe and they are developing, and we see more players in the Premier League, and Ricardo Pepi is now moving up to PSV Eindhoven. And if you stick to your path and stick to one coach who knows how to treat the group of player you will add for the next 10 years, that can be really good for you.
That's a good point. It's a really good point. And sometimes you got to think, what do the players want? There's been stories coming out. I know the Reyna friction is a big thing, but outside of that, it seems like everyone loved this Greg fella, really did. And he did a lot for that group and has done a lot for it. You can clearly see that on how they play in terms of, they just look like a team. They look like they're just really hungry to play for that US team. And for years, when Donovan was playing, there was just no identity. And that's kind of the big thing, I guess, Yehonatans saying is, it's like that pathway to bringing an identity out. The women's side of football in the US is probably 10 years ahead of the men's in that sense, in terms of the success they've had, in terms of how much the game has grown. Out here, I'm out here right now, football ain't a big sport, unfortunately, right now, especially in the men's side of things. You see a load, in the women's and the girls, it's grown a crazy amount, but people still want to be basketball players, American football players, and baseball players at the end of the day, and golfers. That's just the brutality of it. And I think it's changing. It's definitely changing, 1,000,000%. But that comes from infrastructure, and we can see it with the type of players they're producing. Like, I looked at their starting 11 last night, man. I didn't see a weakness, and that wasn't their strongest 11 either. Really, like no Tyler Adams.
Tim Ream is injured.
Yeah, Tim Ream were in there. Like, and I know he's obviously in the older contingency, but still unbelievable as a centre half. Like, you need that mix, and I think they've got it. They've got it right if they had everyone fit in that sense. I don't rate Matt Turner, if I'm being honest. I think he's a weakness for me. I don't love him.
But they will have Slonina in 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, as long as they come through pathway wise, and if all things go correct, then they probably do have a Slonina. But like Matt Turner, he obviously doesn't start. I know he's at Arsenal, but like, if you're the US national team goalie, I think you should be at a team playing week in, week out. Personally, that's my only gripe with the starting 11, the best starting 11, because he is in it. Unfortunately, I think like Sean Johnson. I don't know if you've seen the howler he made a couple weeks ago, or like it was like 2 weeks ago. It was unbelievable. And I know he's a bit older than whatever, so like he's probably fizzled out in that sense, even though he's still in the squad. But like you said, if Slonina can come through and kind of be that next, just that sort of leading goalkeeper for the next 10 years, Balogun striker is a great example. How like players want to play for the US now. Like, let's be honest, when was that a thing?
Yeah. Like Malik Tillman, who played for Rangers this last season, he moved from Germany to the US. Like with the international team.
Musa's English as well.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these players have chosen. It happened with with Wales as well. Like Ethan Ampadu, a load of these boys at the time could have played for England, but they chose Wales because they sold him a pathway. At 14, they said to Ethan Ampadu, "You're going to be the most capped Welsh player ever, potentially, because you're going to start with us so young." In that sense, I think he's on like a stupid amount of caps already. I think it's like 50 odd or something, and he's like 21. Wow. Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. And like he's vice cap, like he wears the armband if like Ramsey's not on the pitch now. I know Bale's gone. But like, those sort of things like wouldn't have happened 10, 15 years ago. You would want to play for England if you're English, if that makes sense. Born in England, whatever. And same for the US. I think it's great. It's refreshing in that sense. I think it evens the playing field in a weird way. Like, I don't know. It just makes things, if these like lesser nations by quality on paper, compared to your Englands and Frances or whatever, choose to play for like the lesser teams in that sense, I think I just think it's a good thing personally, because they get to play more football, they get to progress internationally, and that international team gets better and more competitive on the world stage.
Well, if we can find some Brazilian strikers who want to play for Scotland, you'll get no arguments from me out of there. We need a striker, so if we're getting the all clear to go and farm them in, I choose Brazil. That's where I'm going to go get. I wonder if that guy Cecinia's up for it.
Did you see Luciano Acosta is getting US residency?
Yeah.
I know he's getting on a little bit, but he'd still be great to have in around that side. Like, so much experience, technically incredible. Ampadu's got 42 caps. Yeah, it just, I think he breaks the record for me personally. Well, he has to.
A lot.
It'd just be impossible not to. If he gets a serious injury, obviously, hopefully he doesn't. But 3 relegations at 22, is some bad luck, because he's an exceptional player. Like, he's still on loan from Chelsea. But I don't. Who are the other 2 teams he must have played for then? So obviously Spezia this year. Who did he
Venezia last year. The fashion team.
Yeah. Good shout. Yeah, good shout. Who was? I'm gonna have a look now. Ethan Ampadu, Spezia, Chelsea. Oh, Sheffield United. He said he went on loan to. They must have got relegated from the Prem, right?
Yeah.
That might have been his first relegation. Gavin says Sheffield. Yeah, man, that's nuts. Unlucky that is. That's some bad luck.
He's like the the equal and opposite reaction kind of thing that goes on. He's like the negative Kingsley Coman, then, isn't he? Like,
yeah, literally.
If you took away Ethan Ampadu, you would take away Kingsley Coman as well. Like, they're linked.
Yeah, they're yin and yang. There's like, I think Tanguy Nianzu's got a stupid amount of trophies won as well. I can't remember the stat, but obviously he was at PSG. Not
Bayern.
Really playing.
And then
Bayern. Yeah,
and now we won the
Europa League. I think he's won like the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's won. I can't remember what the stat was. Was it leagues or was it Euro? It must have been Europe related, I guess. But it was something stupid. I can't remember the stat. But it's just funny how like some players just get really lucky early on in their career. You create your own luck in that sense. But it's just funny how you just gobble up all the trophies in that sense somehow. Then you can just go the other way, like you said, with Ampadu and get 3 relegations. And I don't know, it's just funny how football works in that sense.
big time. Then you get some players that never win a medal ever,
Of course,
you know,
yeah, I mean,
and are supremely elite, and it's just the way it goes. But yeah, it's always good when you hear these. And I always think as well, like you guys will be the same, but like see, growing up, like being a football fan, you'd always think to yourself, oh, if I was a player, I'd play for this team, and then once you win the league and the cup, I would want to go somewhere else and go do it all again. And then you go to Germany, and then you do this and you do that and whatever. And when you see players halfway doing it, you know, like there's always, I think every football fan of this kind of age group, you know, has a wee bit of good on you, mate. That's brilliant, you know, like because it's all about achievement, isn't it?
Yeah. If you've got the chance, and I know that the problem is there's monetary gains in that as well, moving from club to club and agent fees and transfer fee. Like, you know, there's a gain to be had monetarily, isn't there, to move in? But like you said, there is that sort of, you know, that winning capability in terms of trophies and stuff if you get the chance. And not, like you said, not many players do. Like only the 5% of players get to win X amount of trophies. And I mean, it's the same in any sort of industry, I guess, in that sense. It's always the upper echelon, the kind of reign. But like, it's just interesting. It's a funny world, football. Like luck plays such a big part in players' careers, injury. Like there's so many things you got to avoid, and there's so many things that you need to be able to do, and they all need to come into one big ball of energy and kind of just go in the right direction. And sometimes you're just off path, and it's just sometimes you can't get back on path either. This is an interesting sport, and that's kind of why we love it, right?
Yeah. Totally. I've had a catch on a DNP for the weekend, so thank you very much.
Maxi's out, is he?
Yeah, okay. Can swap him out for Alfredo Morelos, not the one formerly of them, but the one at NYC. I can just put him in.
Yeah, he'll score well. He'll do well. He'll do
easy peasy enough.
Yeah. I'm just doing
Jimmy Traore Champions League medal. I think says Scott Carson. I think is and I used to think as well when I was like really young. See when Man United done the treble. I remember watching the Champions League final, and I can't remember. It must have been in the celebrations afterwards. Yeah, it was seeing Raymond van der Hau. I don't know if you know who Raymond van der Hau is, but he was Peter Schmeichel's number 2 at Man United, and you know, you'd have never heard of him, you know, like, but he was the number 2 goalkeeper for the treble. And I remember being a wee guy watching that and thinking, I could be him. I could do that. I could sit on the bench and not play football as well. I could definitely do that and get a medal. But Scott Carson is like, he's apex that game, hasn't he?
Unbelievable. Did you see the video of him in the changing rooms, like diving and stuff? You've got to see it. It's so funny. Like he's pretending like preseason is starting again, and he's just diving all over the place and just mocking himself, I guess, as a goalkeeper. It's just, yeah, man. He just landed, hasn't he? What a little end to his career. And I said, like, he was a good goalie. Like, let's be honest, for a long time, he's a decent keeper. But yeah, that's the dream, isn't it, as a keeper? Just those like last 5 years or so, just to milk it, play for like a top 5 club in whatever league, and just start milking trophies. And Jesus, man, what he's
wage
done.
Packets, man.
Yeah,
Wage packet. Crazy,
that's like Ortega Moreno did that this season. He moved to
Ortega Moreno, but just got a new contract, and it's a chunky one, by the way. It's decent. He's on like 80 grand a week now or something, and it's like a proper contract. So I think they really like him. Like, I think they really like him, you know. So I think all the other guys that are on their books, Buric is sold, isn't he? But like Zach Steffen, and I think there's another 1 or 2 guys in under 23s that are good prospects, goalkeeper wise. I think that Ortega's probably now married in as a number 2 with Ederson, you know, because it's a proper deal they gave him. You know, can't stress that enough.
Imagine moving from Arminia Bielefeld, who got relegated to Bundesliga 2, winning the treble, and Arminia Bielefeld gets relegated to Bundesliga 3.
Oh,
wow.
That is incredible.
That's insane.
The slide happens.
Yeah,
I feel that we're tearing off a little bit, guys. Now we're talking about backup goalkeepers and everything. This happened a wee bit last week without some of the fixtures of Europe. You know, we do our best. It's a really action-packed game week in MLS, of course. There's some good fixtures there, if not a lot. Tons of great qualifiers and Euros. And through the international break, I'm sure we'll have Gargi back with all his multiple lineups and combinations and stuff like that throughout this break anyway. But it's probably about time we wrapped it up, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, we've done well, I think, to get an hour and 40 in, to be honest, or hour and 35 in terms of, you know, how much we have in terms of fixtures and stuff. It's been fun.
Great move there for wee ends. So Harry, yeah, been an absolute pleasure. And Yehonatan, great to see you on as well, mate.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
Good luck to everybody this weekend. I hope you're back in your country in whatever game they're in, or your club if you're in America. Or America, do they have internationals? Anyway, that's no, we didn't. No, but nothing scored. So
they should have something, but not scored.
Yeah, if it's not scored, we don't care. Anyway, stay out of trouble, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.